Bonsoir.
L'équipe. Est-ce que vous pouvez expliquer pourquoi vous
Good
avez
evening, I'm
utilisé ce
from
système ce
L'Équipe.
soir?
Can
Est-ce
you
que vous l'avez
maybe talk to us through your formation choice? Are you happy with your choice? I always try
Une
and
équipe la plus
take the right
équilibrée qui
choice
soit capable
so that we have the most balanced
de
team
bien
as
attaquer et de bien
possible,
défendre.
so that we're able
Face à
to attack well and defend well,
une belle
especially
équipe
up against
des
a
Pays-Bas qui a été
great
plus
opponent
prudente
such as the
qu'à
Netherlands. They were a
l'habitude.
little bit more
Voilà,
cautious than I
le seul
expected them to
regret que
be,
j'ai
but the
ce
only
soir,
regret that I
c'est qu'on
have
n'a pas eu
is
l'efficacité parce
that
qu'on a eu
we
5-6
weren't efficient
occasions
enough. We had 5 or
franches avec
6
beaucoup
chances, goal
d'enchaînements, des
scoring
positions
opportunities, and we had lots of
interchangeables aussi
play.
qui amenaient de la variété.
We
Sans
shook things
marquer,
up a lot, but
on peut pas gagner, bien
unfortunately, we weren't
évidemment. Des
able
fois, dans
to
ces
find the back
matchs-là,
of the nets.
quand on marque
And
pas, on
if we're
peut le
not finding the
perdre
back of the
aussi.
net, we're not walking away with
Et,
the 3 points.
je crois que les Pays-Bas, ils ont eu
But
deux
I think
occasions,
that the
donc
Netherlands maybe
voilà,
had 2
avec encore une
chances.
grosse intensité.
Once again,
À
high
nous de
intensity
répéter
game,
une performance
and
comme ça,
we want to
en ayant
try
eu
and pull out
beaucoup moins de
the
temps de
same
récupération.
performance, despite the fact that we didn't have a lot
Satisfait de ce qu'a
of
fait
recovery.
mon équipe
So
ce
I'm
soir.
happy
Mis à
with
part,
what my boys
évidemment,
pulled out the bag this
ce
evening,
manque
obviously
d'efficacité.
despite the fact that we weren't as efficient as I would have liked. Thank you.
Oui, bonsoir Didier, Baptiste Després, Le Figaro. Est-ce que tu peux nous
Baptiste
expliquer
from
ta
Le
gestion de
Figaro,
Kylian?
can you
Est-ce que c'était
maybe
du
talk
bluff
us
hier,
through
on l'a eu
how
pas du tout?
Kylian is doing? So were you
Par
bluffing
rapport au but
yesterday?
sur hors-jeu des Pays-Bas,
And with
on a Koeman
regards
le
to
juste
the
avant vient de dire que
disallowed
pour lui, il y avait
goal
but quelconque sur
offside, we've just
Moi, il n'y a pas
had
but.
the other coach
Il a
saying
dû
that it
avoir
should have
quelque
been
part.
allowed. No, it
Une
was
réunion
disallowed.
avec les arbitres à partir du moment
I
où il
don't
y a un
know.
joueur qui est en position qui
The
empêche le
referees came
gardien d'avoir la
together. There
vision et de
was a
pouvoir
player who was
plonger. Ça a
impeding
mis
the
beaucoup de temps.
goalkeeper
J'étais
from being
surpris
able to
d'ailleurs
dive.
parce
I
que
know that it took a little bit of
je
time. I
revois
was actually
l'image sur
quite taken aback with
l'écran
how long it
juste à
took,
côté de
because when
moi.
I saw the
Ça me
image
paraît
of the screen, for me it was a no-brainer.
évident. Et après, je sais plus.
But what was the next
Non,
question?
je ne bouge pas à faire
No.
de bluff, voilà. Ça
No,
va
I
mieux.
wasn't
Chaque jour qui
bluffing
passe
at all with
est
Kylian.
un jour
He's doing well.
de gagner. Si
With
ça avait
each
été
day, he's
un
getting
match
better.
décisif
And
aujourd'hui,
if it had been a decisive
j'aurais
game
réfléchi
this
peut-être encore
evening,
différemment,
I
même
would have
si
maybe
c'est important pour moi
thought
aussi d'avoir
twice about him playing or
la
not.
sensation de
But it's
Kylian. Il a eu un
important for
choc
me
et
as
puis
well to think about how he's feeling. He took
le
a
fait d'avoir
nasty blow
un hématome qui
and
doit quand même
he's got
se
bruise.
dissiper, le fait de porter un
That,
masque qui change
and he's going to be
un
having to
petit
wear
peu
a
la vision
mask.
quand même aussi,
That
et puis
maybe
parce qu'il y
changes
a
his vision as well.
par rapport au risque,
But
voilà,
also
chaque
the
jour qui
risk
passe, on se
that
rapproche
he'll
vers
be
une
taking. So with each day that
consolidation
passes,
qui est
we're
meilleure
getting
chaque
to
jour,
a
quoi.
point
Donc,
where we want to be that is
donc
better
voilà,
for him as well.
aujourd'hui,
So today I
après ce qui
just,
s'est passé
after what happened
hier, avant-hier,
yesterday and the day
c'était plus
before,
sage
for me, I
reste
thought
sur
that
le
the
banc.
wiser decision was to keep him on the bench.
Bonsoir, Didier Deschamps, Le Parisien.
Oui.
Au bout de 2 matchs, est-ce que vous êtes satisfait
From Le
de votre
Parisien,
équipe,
so
de ce qu'on
after
voit, un
2
grand gardien,
games,
une
are
équipe
you
solide,
happy with your
un
team?
milieu
Do you think that you guys are
protège bien sa
strong?
défense,
Do you
à part
think that
l'efficacité? Est-ce que
you've
vous
got
avez
a strong
appris
defense, good
Offensivement, on fait de
keeper,
bonnes
apart
choses,
from
mais
efficiency?
oui,
We're doing
il
great
y a
things
beaucoup
up
de
front,
points
but yeah,
positifs. Après, il y a
there
les
is a lot of
adversaires
positive
aussi.
to take away. You also need to take
Et
into consideration the
l'Autriche,
opponents.
ils en ont mis 3 aujourd'hui
Austria,
à la
they
Pologne,
scored 3
visiteurs.
goals
Donc,
today against Poland at the 6 p.m. game.
c'est dur pour tout le monde, mais on
It's
y est, que
hard.
ce
It's hard for
soit
everyone,
sur le
but we're in
plan
it. And
mental, l'état d'esprit,
be we talking about the mind
la
game, our
capacité à
mindset,
créer du
the
danger, se
fact that
créer
we're
des
able
occasions.
to
Voilà,
create
c'est pas que
danger,
la
that we
solidité,
are
oui,
getting
c'est
those
évidemment
chances. Yes, we're solid, we're
important, mais
strong
pour
together.
gagner les
That's
matchs, il faut marquer.
important.
Donc je
But
le
to
répète,
win games, we need to score
le
goals.
regret que j'ai ce soir
So
par rapport
once
au
again,
nombre
the only regret that I
d'occasions
have with regards to
franches
the number of chances that we
qu'on a pu
saw
avoir, quoi. Mais il
was
faut qu'on
the
garde
fact that we
ça et
didn't score. But
sur le prochain, dans 4 jours,
we'll be looking at that and we'll be
aller
hoping to
chercher
improve
la
for
qualification
the
qui est
next game in 4
notre
days'
premier
time
objectif.
so that we're able to hit the objective of making it through to the next round.
Bonsoir Didier, Jean-François Pérez,
Oui.
le JDD.
Good evening, Didier.
N'Golo Kanté a été élu pour la deuxième fois
N'Golo
consécutive
Kanté
meilleur homme du
was
match. Mais j'ai
second
envie de vous parler
time
de
in a
McMillan,
row
qui le mériterait
player of the game, but I
peut-être
want
tout
to talk
autant,
about
même si
McMillan,
c'est
who
évidemment
maybe should
par
have
séquence
got the trophy
moins
instead
fréquente.
of Kanté.
Est-ce qu'après les ennuis physiques
Do
qu'il a
you
connus
think
ces
that
dernières semaines,
after the
il vous
physical
bluffe? Il est à
niggles
un
he's had over the
niveau qui vous
course of
paraît
the
exceptionnel?
past week,
Non,
he
Mike est
is
très
at
bien,
the
il est
exceptional
régalant.
level
On a
that we're
fait que
used
ce
to?
qu'il
No,
fallait
Mike
pour
is
l'amener
great. We did everything that we could to ensure that he could be in the best positions or conditions rather possible, especially given the injuries that he's been riddled with. He's got support. Rabiot was working with him as well as our medical team. But Mike is strong. He feels good. And even if okay, yeah, we saw today that he only had to have 2 stops, but after the first save, no, I think that he did well. He's a leader for our defense as well. And I hope we're going to be needing Mike and Fengolo. Ngolo is still out there running, I think. But running's not the only thing that he does. He runs very well, but he also has a capacity which maybe we didn't see from him before, but he's able to really project up the field, which is important when it comes to our play with the other midfielders, be we talking about Tchouaméni or Adrien Rabiot, so that we have that variety. We're able to jig things up, and we're not always predictable for our opponent. And then obviously Antoine and then the rest of the lads who are up front as well. But this allows us to create danger, to create chances, all the while keeping very good foundation within the midfield. Good evening, Didier. The lack of efficiency up front, do you think that this is just a one-off thing, or you are concerned? No, I'm not concerned. It's just the name of the game. Sometimes you have countless chances and you don't hit the back of the net, and sometimes it's the other way around. We've also got the goalkeeper. We had shots that were off target that could have probably been chances. So no, I'm not really worried. As I already mentioned, I would be worried if there weren't any chances. That would be a little bit more concerning. But efficiency at high-level football is important, and it's something that we can work on. There is room for improvement here. Good evening from West. How did you find Aurélien Tchouaméni for his return? Did you count on him doing 90 minutes, or what was the game plan here? No, he felt good. He was up to the level I expected him. He'd been out for 6 weeks, even though he had 30-minute stints, but it was exactly what we wanted. If everything went to plan, we were going to keep him on the pitch for the full 90 minutes. He was available for the first game, but we decided to play it safe. And despite the lack of rhythm, he was able to... He's had a lot of sessions, fitness sessions, so that he could have the right data, allowing him to play, because we were having stats that were the same as before. It was great for us to have Aurélien back on his game for this evening.
Bonsoir Didier, Denis Ménétrier pour Le Monde.
Good evening, Didier Le Monde. I just wanted to talk to you about Antoine Griezmann. There were a lot of missed chances, but how did you find his performance? I think that he had more possession in the first half than the second half. Was this a change that you asked? And do you think that we want an Atletico Madrid-style Antoine Griezmann higher up on the pitch, or more feeding those balls in as he did in the 2018 World Cup? He doesn't have a fixed position. The more touches of ball he gets, the better it is. Antoine is someone who is very generous in his football. Sometimes his generosity means that he doesn't have as a clear head as he could have. I thought that he was a lot better than the first game. I spoke to him about this actually, but I feel that it was maybe slightly off on the technical front, which is something that I'm not used to seeing with him. But there are no fixed positions here. He can play higher when we need him higher up the pitch. He knows exactly what he needs to do. Everything depends really on the opponent, who we're coming up against, and also how they're set up. And their midfielders and their attackers. Obviously, given our formation today, he was positioned higher up the pitch just because we had the 3 other midfielders as well.
Bonsoir Didier, Hugo Lallier, SoFoot.
Good evening, Didier. SoFoot, what did you think about Marcus Thuram up front? I don't know, we're going to go through all of the players. Marcus, he's a little bit more natural in this position. He feels a little bit more at home. He
Il a été plutôt intéressant dans son
was,
jeu en appui. Il a eu quelques
I think that he
appels de
provided a
balle
lot of
aussi,
support. He also called for the ball a lot.
C'est pas le poste le plus
When
facile
it's not the easiest
devant,
position to play when you're up front.
Il fait pas tout bien, mais
But
il est là sur le
he
premier
doesn't do
match,
everything well, but he's
évidemment.
there. And for the first game,
Ça l'a amené à
he
faire pas mal de travail défensif, de compensation.
he had to
où il se
work
sacrifie.
a lot.
Mais
He had
il
to
le fait,
get back, sacrifice,
parce
get
qu'il
back
en
and
a les
defend.
capacités aussi. Donc,
But he does have
là, il
the
était plus
capability and the
positionné.
capacity to do so. This time round, he
Voilà. Lui
was
aussi, il a eu quelques opportunités.
different. He had a couple of
Ça lui aurait
chances,
fait du bien, mais
and I
il
think
est,
it probably would have
sur le
done
plan
him
de
some
la
good to
condition
score, but
athlétique et puis la
for
confiance en lui,
his
donc
fitness and also
il
his
a un très bon niveau.
self-esteem, I think that
Une dernière
we're
question
smooth
très vite,
sailing.
Serge, je laisse
And we'll just
répondre.
take one last question from Le
Bonsoir Didier.
Républicain.
Oui, je sais pas si on peut le
Good
rattacher
evening,
à l'utilité
Didier, over
offensive, mais
here.
le coup de pied arrêté
I'm not sure if
qui
this
n'apporte aussi
is
pas de
about
situation de
efficiency,
danger sur les deux premiers matchs. Est-ce que c'est un
set
domaine où il va
play,
falloir faire des progrès?
danger. Do you think that this is something that you need to work
Le
on, especially
premier
from tonight's
m'était un peu plus,
performance
mais vous
and the
savez,
first game?
pour être
Maybe
dangereux
the
sur
first.
les coups de pied arrêtés, quand vous avez
If
là
you want to
aujourd'hui, on
be
avait encore
dangerous when it
aussi
comes to set
Golgoth à plus
pieces,
d'1,90 m.
we also had Gogot,
Donc,
who is, I think, over 1
même
1m80
si on met de la
in
variété,
goal.
c'est vrai qu'on les
So
a pas
even if
tous
we
tirés
vary what we're doing,
bien.
I don't think that they were all
Mais
taken
voilà,
well, but
il
there
a du
was
répondant
a giant in the
athlétique
cage.
dans
And
les airs aussi. Donc,
I don't think that we
on
were
n'a pas touché
always.
toujours les mêmes zones.
I asked them
J'avais
to
demandé,
not
mais
always shoot in the same zones,
voilà,
but
c'est
I
surtout
think that we
aussi
have
dû
to
à la
give
qualité
credit
des
to
joueurs
the
en face
quality
pour
of the
le domaine
defenders in the air.
aérien.
Thank you very
Merci.
much,
On va
and
remercier les équipes
we would
de
like to thank the
l'UEFA
UEFA teams for their
pour
cooperation.